My name is Boardman. I am a freelance consultant, but I've been working with the Armour Museums Ogilvie Trust for over 2 years now on a range of areas to help support Armour Museums address resilience in the sector. So my first top tip is know what you want your money for. Whether it's for a capital project, a revenue project, or both, make sure you know what you want your money for. And also make sure that if it is going to include revenue, to look at incorporating full cost recovery. Top tip 2 is don't chase funds if they don't align with your museum's mission, because you will end up wasting more time and money and effort on chasing a pot of funds that actually aren't going to help your museum achieve what it needs to achieve. My third top tip is to use a range of funding search engines to make sure that you can find the appropriate fund that's going to match the work and the project that you need. AMOT has its own funding updates that it provides in its monthly eShot bulletin, and it will also soon be launching a searchable funding database that AMOT members can access, where you can filter out the different funding pots that are available for your museum. So I would advise any museum to look at accessing that information, or if not, the range of other funding search engines that are available to them, to make sure that the funding pot that you apply for is relevant to the work that you want to achieve within your museum. My next top tip is making sure that you read the guidance notes when you're applying for the funds. One of the major problems that all funders say is that applicants don't read the guidance notes. And quite a few funders as well have development officers that you can contact, and you can talk to them about the project that you want to develop. And I would say make the most out of those officers, because at the end of the day, the trust fund or the foundation or the lottery funder want you to have the money. They want your project to be successful. So please make sure you read the guidance, please make sure you talk to the officers, and make sure that you fit the eligibility criteria for that fund, because the last thing you want to do is to spend time, effort and money filling out application forms to be rejected at the first stage. My next tip is to make sure that you've factored in the amount of time it's going to take for that fund to find out whether you've been successful or not. With some trusts and foundations it could be a matter of weeks, with others it can be 6 months plus. So you need to make sure that you are not waiting for that fund to be successful in order for you to continue doing the work that it is that you're doing. So make sure you factor in the time scale so it fits with what you're trying to do within the museum. My next tip is, if you are unsuccessful, please ask for feedback. Because if you don't ask for feedback, how do you know what you did wrong? It may be that you didn't actually do anything wrong, there was just too much competition for that fund, and actually you did a fantastic bid. But if you don't ask for the feedback, then you will never know. And usually quite a few trusts and foundations will provide you with some useful tips and information, and they might actually signpost you to another funder that may be available to help you with that application. And my final tip is some useful information for any organisation when looking at applying for funds and fundraising. Is remember there's a wealth of support and information out there from organisations like the National Council for Voluntary Organisations, the Small Charities Coalition. In each of your local areas you will have Council for Voluntary Service or Voluntary Action organisations that can support you. And also AMOT has an eShot that goes out every month that provides funding updates, and also will provide you with a link to their searchable funding database, where you can then access that information and you can filter out the types of projects and funds that you want for your museum.